I don't know what Trump values are. They're foreign to me. They're not what I can relate to.
Do I believe that he represents the worst in America, not the best? Yes. His campaign is based on xenophobia, race baiting, religious bigotry, bringing out the worst in us. Trumpism, which is a cult of a strong man that absolutely is nowhere near conservatism. Mr. Trump would destroy my party because of who he is and the way he behaves. If we do not reject this way of thinking clearly, without any ambiguity, we'll have lost our way. We'll have lost the moral authority, in my view, to govern this great nation. He doesn't have the temperament or judgment to control himself when he gets mad. What Donald Trump has to offer doesn't make us great again. It makes us weaker than we actually already are. On foreign policy, he's worse than Barack Obama. Donald Trump's foreign policy is isolationism. It will lead to another 9/11. Women and Hispanics hate his guts for good reason. And when it comes to women and Hispanics, Trump polls like Lucifer. Donald Trump is putting our soldiers and diplomats in jeopardy. I thought Rand Paul would be the worst alternative until I heard Trump speak. Anyone in a responsible position with the Republican Party needs to say the following to the American people. We do not agree with Donald Trump. I'm not going to try to get into the mind of Donald Trump because I don't think there's a whole lot of space there. I'm responsible for what I believe. My party is responsible for who we are. This is a defining moment in the future of the Republican Party. We can't worry about what Donald Trump might do. We have to focus on what we should do. And as a party, we should reject what he says because it's not true. And if we don't reject it, we've lost the moral authority, in my view, to govern this country. I'm not afraid of losing an election. I'm afraid of losing our soul. If you can't admire Joe Biden as a person, then it's probably you got a problem. You need to do some self-evaluation. Because what's not to like? I called him after Bo died. And he basically said, well, Bo was my soul. We've talked for a long time. He came to my ceremony and said some of the most incredibly heartfelt things that anybody could ever say to me. And he's the nicest person I think I've ever met in politics. He is as good a man as God ever created. I think he's been dealt a really gut blow. I think he focuses on what he's got to do, not what he lost. His heart's been ripped out, but he's going to make sure that the other members of his family is well taken care of. And he started talking about his grandkids. More worried about them than anything. We just talked about the future. Yeah. He started talking about the future of his family.
For the good of the nation, I think, it would serve us all well if we thought about this one idea. After we're all dead and gone, no matter what the result, whether the Senate at the end of the day chooses to acquit, whether at the end of the day they have a trial and they choose to convict or remove, or at some point in time they want to say we believe censure is the appropriate remedy, the question I have that we all should be thinking about is how would history judge the result? What did you make your decision upon? Whatever the result is, that history will know that it was fair and it was not based on political emotion, it was based on facts and law. But all I ask of the Senate is to take your oath, listen to the evidence in some way that will withstand historical scrutiny, that you will have a record that will justify any decision you make, and vote your conscience. It's important to me that whatever decision was made be based on evidence and the law that we use in this country day in and day out. And the political moment is tough, but don't just live for the political moment. If we'll think about the consequences of our decisions in this case, and we'll fall back on the constitutional process, America will win regardless of outcome. America could only lose, in my opinion, if we take this process and we just try to live for the political moment and not have a factual record that would justify a decision, whether it's guilt, innocence, or censure. And somebody mentioned if the Republican president would have done this. Let me just say this. It would be a good test for us. If a Republican president had done these things, would a Republican delegation gone to tell him to get out of town? I hope so.
I would like to think that we would have done that. Only time will tell what happens here.